welcome to another episode of the Ungrownups video transmission. I'm your host Mark, and today we're going to be taking a look at MP-15, I believe, the Takara Tomy Transformers masterpiece, Ravage and Rumble. Jaguar, as he's called in Japan. I am really excited to get this set opened up and out of the package and check them out, because I've been waiting for these guys ever since I had Masterpiece Soundwave come in, and I think these are going to be a mighty fine addition to Soundwave, and they actually interact with him in some very unique and very strange ways. So we're going to be taking a look at that a little bit later on, but as you can see with my hand here as a point of reference, pretty small box. It's actually the smallest Masterpiece box I've ever received. So here we have, turned around on the back, you see cassette forms, robot mode, or Panther, Jaguar mode, whatever, how they fit into the chest, and all the accessories that you get in the box. So let's get this guy opened up and show you what's in the package. It's a mighty tightly packed little package you get here. Let's get that out of the way. Here we have the instruction manual and stats card, which is pretty cool. Always a good thing to have. And we're going to need those instructions here pretty soon. You have this little pack that comes with both of Rumble's pistols and his pile driver caps or battery cap. I don't know. We'll check into that. We'll check that out in here just a little bit. And here's what you get in the package. You get 2 cassette cases. You've got Ravage. You've got Rumble, who just fell out, and you've got their come each individually. Each one comes individually bagged, and you get the pile drivers. So let's get these guys opened up and some of the stuff out of our way. You know, I heard somebody say in a review once that if you were to stack all of the cassette cases on top of one another, the one that you got with Soundwave, with Laserbeak, and these two, that they would look like a cube of Energon, which is why they were colored pink. And I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't make that connection. I never even thought about that. So that's kind of cool if that is indeed the case. And it sort of resembles a little box of Energon. Let's get these set up over here. We have our cassettes, and let's get these opened up. Which these little packages are actually sealed. So get these tore open real quick. Sorry about doing this actually on camera, but this is what an unboxing is all about, right? You do it for real, right? Okay. So there's the little cap. So there's everything you get in the package. So let's get these. Let's take a look at these little cassettes here in closer detail. Okay, so here we have all 3 cassettes that have been released so far. We have Ravage, Laserbeak from the Masterpiece Soundwave release, and we also have Rumble. So okay, so to sort of help out with that argument, is Rumble red or is Frenzy red? From what I understand, and the package sort of helps out a little bit, is that Rumble was red initially in the toy release, but when he made his jump to the cartoon, they made him blue, but they still called him Rumble. And then later they added Frenzy, and they said, well, let's just make him red. So in the toy world, Rumble was red, but in the cartoon, Rumble was blue, and I think that's where there's some kind of confusion there, but I think Takara Tomy has sort of settled this argument for us once and for all by officially titling the red cassette Rumble. So from now on, Rumble Red. That's how I'm going to remember it. So as you can see, they're all in sort of the exact same proportions to one another. If you were to stack them all up next to each other, you'll see that they're all the same size. And they do all, like we kind of pointed out before, they do all fit in Soundwave's chest at the same time. So, and we're going to take a look at that here in a bit. But I just wanted to show that, you know, basically what they all look like from the front. And they all look really good. They all look like, you know, your standard 80s cassettes. They all look great from both sort of both sides. They look really good. Especially Rumble, he looks awesome. But Ravage, as you can see, he's kind of got some open spots, and doesn't really look much like a cassette. You can see all of his sort of Panther or Jaguar kibble sort of on the back. So he's the only one that doesn't look top-notch when spun around backwards. So why don't we take a look at each one of these guys one at a time, sort of transform them and look at all their little bits and pieces. And we're going to start with Rumble. Okay, we've got Rumble here. We're going to be taking a look at him first and foremost. You can see right here on the front of the cassette his little head area, and flip it around here on the back, you can clearly see his classic G1 chest, Decepticon logo. You can pretty much see where things are going to be coming together. So to get him transformed, what we want to do is just want to lift up the arms, take the legs, rotate them down, extend them out. They come out quite a bit, and they're just on like double, triple, quadruple hinges, something going on down there. Rotate the legs down, and then you can see here, fold out the feet, and then just turn the whole leg all the way around. The only bad thing here is you can see the ball joint for the foot. That's just a, hazard of the transformation. And if it didn't happen already, just fully extend the abdomen. I'm going to pull the arms out, and you can see where the hands are hidden. You just kind of pop those right out. And same thing over here. And then you just want to turn the whole guy around and lift out his head and rotate it all the way around. So the nature of the transformation does give his head a full 360-degree turn, and you can rotate his head back a little. Of course, you just can't rotate it down. So there you have Rumble, looking quite nice. Really, really, really love that classic G1 chest with that sort of vac metal paint that's kind of going on there, and on his knees. You see that it's real super shiny. Looking pretty cool. So you've got some really cool options of how you want to display this guy with some of his accessories back here. One of the things you can do is you can take this little cap that sort of fits down on top of both of his pile drivers, and you can sort of fit this into this little hole that his head leaves. You can sort of fit that there. It kind of stays in a little bit. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but you can. The next thing you can do is you can take this off, and you can take both of his pile drivers, and they only fit in here one way. If you can see, there's like this little area on the inside right here is flat, so it's sort of flat right here. The rest of this is rounded, and you can see that on the top it is flat on one side, rounded on the other. So they only kind of fit in one direction. You can put that on like that. And then you can take this and you can just fit the whole thing, the two holes in the opening right here, the square, so two pegs and a little square. So all that sort of fits. You just press that right onto Rumble. And all that sort of fits on his backpack, and he can sort of carry that. So it can either be like a jetpack, or he can carry it around. It looks kind of silly. Doesn't look like he'd have too much mobility if he was packing this thing around. But yeah, I mean, Takara Tomy built in a ton of accessibility and storage and all kinds of like little interconnectivity things you can do with all these little bits and pieces, not only with these guys but also with Soundwave, and we're going to look at that too. The next thing you can do is you can take his little blasters, and these blasters, as you can see, very reminiscent of the blasters that are on the back of Laserbeak, but they also have a hinge on them as well, so they have to where you can rotate this down and he can hold it in his hand, and he can do this with both hands. And so he sort of has his standard pistols. Let's go ahead and do the other one. And rotate that down and put this in his hand. So he can sort of have like both of his pistols. He can sort of dual wield, and that looks really cool. Or what you can do with these is to get that classic G1 styling. You can take these little things, fold these back up, have this bigger peg here, and this thing actually fits on his back in the cassette hole, in the tape hole. So why is that not snapping in? There we go. So let's do the same with this one. Let's take this, hold that back, and put this in his back. They fit in there really, really tightly. So you can sort of have that classic G1 look of Rumble, and his backpacks looks really nice. I'll show you one other thing you can do here with these guns. Let's take these off, and they really fit down in there tightly. Let's take these out of this little cap. Okay, come on, buddy. Work with me. And you can actually take the cap. Each one of the pile drivers has a little cap that you can lift up. And if you can look down in there, you can see that it has a very distinct shape. The other one has the mirror image of that. So the two slots are on the other side, the opposite side. So what you can do is, and they're made for each specific gun. So you can take this and you can slide the whole gun right down in there. And you can close that off. And so you can actually store the guns inside of the pile drivers and then connect them to the cap and then connect them to his bag. So you can actually put all of the weapons together and put them on Rumble's back, which is kind of cool. And these guns and these pile drivers actually interact with Soundwave. It's kind of cool. I'll show you that here in just a minute, but I want to show you how this actually works. This is not the best setup in the world. Oh, and for the pile driver part, you can't extend this down. It doesn't turn, there's no rotation, it's just a straight in and out. So the way you work this is take the arm, turn it out like that, take the hand, fold it in, and you want to rotate it up just like that. So you would kind of want to get this little shape going on. And then all you do is you take the pile driver and you just slide his hand. You have to make sure the hand's all the way in, and then just slide it in all the way, and it just kind of fits in there snugly. It's not the tightest fit in the world, but it fits on there pretty well. This one doesn't fit as tightly as the one on the right. And there's really nothing holding it in. There's no... It just kind of goes in there. It's just kind of friction, really, holds it in. And then you're able to, of course, sort of take him, lean him forward, rotate the arms a little bit. And there you're sort of able to get that pile driving look. And I think I've bent his legs back a little bit too much. It looks a little funny, but you can sort of just have his legs all the way out, sort of bend him over, and let him pile drive. Like I said, the connectivity here is not the best in the world, and I'm sure if you futz around with it, you can probably get it to fit in there a lot nicer. But yeah, he looks really, really, really good. I really enjoy this guy. He's really cool. And I'm glad that the red version of this is what comes with Ravage, and not the blue version. Because, you know, I kind of like having that brighter color to sort of stand out. So we're going to look at all these little parts and pieces here again in a minute when we bring in Soundwave. But let's get this guy out of the way and take a look at Ravage. Okay, so here we have Ravage, and here is the new masterpiece Ravage, and this is the old school G1 Ravage with all of his die-cast glory and revealer rub-off symbol. God, I miss those. Little robot schematic right there in the middle. Pretty cool. Flipping him around, you can also see where his head is. So, you know, that's almost the same way it is here. The parts are a little more hidden on the front, but you flip this guy around on the back, and he sort of shows all of the sort of downside to this figure. It's how open he is on the back and how he really doesn't look much like a Cassette from the back. And to be honest, neither does the G1 Ravage. So we'll bring this guy back here in a bit, and we'll look at him. But this is sort of the worst thing about Ravage here is that you can see all these little bits and bobbles back here. You can see the they used to be the little clip-on side missiles there. They're now exposed there, but that's not a killer for this figure. That doesn't take too much away from it. But one of the cool things about this Cassette transformer is that Ravage actually transforms completely differently from all the other Cassettes we've seen so far. He actually kind of folds together like this, to where the spine or the middle part of the Cassette actually becomes his back. But before you put the head together, right here on the inside of the right side of the face is a little tiny little nub, and you want to make sure that you pull that out before final transformation, because what that does is that little nub that comes out actually, as you can see here, is the nose, and without it, that little space would be empty. So there is the head. It looks really nice, really cool, nice detail. Next thing you want to do is you just want to separate the legs. You can see them kind of like hanging out here on the side, and they kind of tab together. You just kind of want to see there's a little tab right there, goes in right there on the top of his other leg. So you just want to separate those, get those apart. You want to take the back legs, you want to fold them together, and just like that, and then rotate the back part of the leg down. Fold the feet out. And do that on both sides. So now, just like with Laserbeak and his backpack and his little thrusters, how they're sort of made into the wings and they sort of transform out, so do Ravage's little missile launchers on the back. And then you can see where his tail is right there. You just want to, you may want to pull that out before you snap the legs together. Pull his tail out, and it's a little shorter than the last one, but and then what you want to do is right here in the middle of his belly, you can see on the underneath side, you can actually bend the whole middle part out like that, and that is so that you can take the head and bend the head down and sort of give it that panther-like, back. And you just want to fold the legs down, both sides, and then rotate that part inward. Sorry, got that backwards on the side. And there you sort of have his legs. You kind of want to angle those back. And there you go. There you have Ravage. So to me, Ravage will always hold a special place in my heart, but I just don't think that this masterpiece Ravage is as awesome of a little marvel as Laserbeak, and I still think Rumble even looks a little better. I don't know, can you let his jaw down? Yeah. No? No, I don't guess you can. I thought maybe you could, but no, I don't guess you can. So, so yeah, there he is. He looks adequately fierce and mean and agile, and he looks really cool. But let's see, where's our old school Ravage? Let's bring him back, and just for old time's sake, let's get him transformed. So as you can see, both before were sort of in, they were pretty much exactly, sorry, I got a hair, same size, but when you get them in panther form, the old school towers over the masterpiece. So yeah, the G1 is just enormous compared. So this is still really cool. I love packing this guy around. He's pretty cool to have around. So I'm glad I still had him for a comparison. So that's pretty much it. Unlike Rumble, there's not a lot, to sort of show off with this guy. He just kind of, He just kind of is. But he does look cool, and I do like how the missiles are sort of integrated into his transformation. So let's see if we can bring all these guys back out again, and sort of check them out. This is a nice little set. I'm not sure it's worth the price tag. It's $59.99 for both figures. It's a little steep. That's quite steep. I think $40 would be more appropriate. You know, $20 a piece is a little more appropriate, but dims the brakes. After getting this set and you know, already having the really cool Laserbeak. So let me sort of get him transformed while we're talking. I don't think I'm going to get the third set or the second set, the Buzzsaw and Frenzy. I don't love Rumble enough to have, you know, a blue version of him just to have one. And while I really like Laserbeak, I don't think it's going to be worth for me the $60 to have a yellow version of him. And I said this before, if the next set was Frenzy and Ratbat, and I was getting a completely different cassette, then I definitely think I would pick up the next set. But, you know, as it stands, I just can't do it. Not for the price point. Okay, so, and here we have Laserbeak. So now we've got all three of the cassettes that have been released so far. So, man, they look really great together. And I still, you know, wouldn't have thought it going in, but Laserbeak is my favorite of all three of the cassettes. And I have to go with Ravage being the weakest. So let's get these guys back in cassette form, bring in Soundwave, and show you some of the really cool interconnectivity that kind of goes on with these three. Okay, so here's the MP-13 Masterpiece Soundwave here, and we have all three of the cassettes inside. And remember, we talked about this in the Soundwave review. There's this little button here that you press down, and it helps sort of like kick each one of the cassettes forward. So let's see if we can do this. I haven't tried it out yet, so I don't know how well this is going to work. So fingers crossed it works perfectly. You want to press that button down, and Laserbeak comes out just fine. You want to go back here, press that button down. Whoa! Okay, that worked really well. Ravage came all the way out, as did Rumble came to the front. So we'll just go ahead and advance that. But yeah, you're able to actually sort of slide these cassettes in, sort of one at a time, and sort of press them back. And that's kind of how that works. So we'll get Ravage all the way in the back, Rumble in next, and then get Laserbeak right here in the front. See if we try that again. One, and I think the thing is I should have closed the door. I think that's sort of the key here, is keeping the door closed. And Ravage gets stuck. So there you have it. That's how the cassettes work. So we also talked about some other connectivity with some of the parts and pieces that came with Ravage and Rumble. So we're going to spin this guy around here on the back, and we're going to take off his sensor. We didn't talk about this much in the review. I kind of forgot to mention it. I did snap it on in the when you saw the figure in his different poses. You did get to see this, but we didn't talk about it. This is like a little connector that's called his sensor. He actually does use this in the same episode that Sideswipe uses his jackhammers that we talked about that came with the other Masterpiece figures. So this is pretty cool little piece here. And what you can do is, remember, you know, you put the battery pack together, or battery pack, pile driver pack, whatever you want to call this, and then you take this little guy, and you see that he's got two little pegs right here, and you see there's two little slots. This actually fits in this little piece like this, and I think probably you want to spin it around like that. It actually connects, and so you've got the two little holes right here. And so what you can do is right here on the side, you'll see that he's got a little port right here. Well, this actually fits in to there. And I don't, because I can't read kanji, so I don't know. I can't read Japanese, so I don't know if this is supposed to be either like a thumb drive or if it's supposed to be like a battery pack, like this is like a charge pack. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, but it does fit in there. Who knows? If somebody can read Japanese and can read the instructions and can, tell me exactly what that's supposed to be down in the comments, that would be most appreciated. Now, I'm going to keep this guy turned around here on the back. And this is not the last time we see this. I'm actually going to bring this back up again here in a minute. But talk about storage. And, this is another reason why I think I'm only going to get the 3. Because, I can get all 3 cassettes in here at once. But this is another reason why I think I'm just going to stick with the 3. So what we're going to do here is we're going to loosen up Soundwave's feet. And I'm going to rotate this part up. And I just want to show you, and I didn't even know Soundwave did this until I got Ravage and Rumble. I never noticed, but there's a little panel on each one of the feet. You can see it right here, and it's right here on the other one. And this actually opens. Believe it or not, it opens just like that. I did not even know this figure did that. And apparently, the guns can actually fit down inside there. Something I did not know. And then it can close again. And I don't know if I have the right gun in there. I don't know if there's a specific way they're supposed to slot in. But the instructions just kind of point this out. Oh, it looks like that kind of slides down in there. This kind of looks like once I get it in there, I'll never be able to get it out. But it does slide in there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm afraid that if I get it in there, I won't be able to. There it goes. So you can actually put the laser gun down into the foot of Soundwave. And you've got the other one you can do right over here. So you can put both pistols in. And that's kind of cool. So you literally can store all of the robots, all the cassettes in the chest. You can store all the weapons in here. And if you were to use that little sensor port here, you can actually plug in. So you literally can connect all of the parts and pieces from Soundwave and Ravage and Rumble into one package, which is really, really cool. So to show off the one last piece of connectivity, I actually have to get this guy transformed into a robot, and so we'll meet you right back. Okay, so I told you that this guy was going to make make another appearance, and so this is just the 2 pile drivers with the cap put on, and you can see right here that there's a little, what looks to be a little clip, and apparently if you do buy both Rumble and Frenzy, then you can do this twice, but you can actually take this and clip it to Soundwave's arm, like so. And you can actually have it be, I don't know, extra pile drivers for his arms, or pretend they're cannons, and you can also have them extended. And I guess if you were to sort of put the hand away, I guess Soundwave could have like a pile driver hand. Yeah, I mean, awesome connectivity, but again, I honestly don't think that I would ever use this functionality. So anyway, let's get this silly thing off his arm and come back for one last group shot of how they're going to go up on my shelf. Okay, so here we finally have all 4 of these guys set up together, and this is approximately how they're going to go back on my shelf. I don't think I can keep my 2 new little guys in cassette form and keep them hidden away in his chest. I think I'm going to leave them in robot form and panther form or jaguar form, whatever, and this is how they're going to go up on the Masterpiece shelf. So yeah, and you know what, I really think this sort of solidifies my idea, or my my decision to not pick up the Frenzy and Bus all pack. I just don't think I can do it. I can't justify the cost. I really wanted to have a little tiny robot, and I really wanted to have, you know, the Panther form over here. I really wanted these two guys to add to this already amazing set. I just don't think I'm going to need the other two, so I won't be picking those up. So, but yeah, and you know, closing thoughts. Still think this guy is top notch. Think he's the best of the bunch, which I wouldn't think I would have said that. And I really do feel that Ravage is just a little too small. I really wish he was a little more menacing. He actually seems to be smaller than Laserbeak, which is kind of weird. But yeah, so that's going to about do it for this review. I hope you guys have enjoyed this and sort of made it through all my ramblings. So you know, we're just going to always ask if you dug the video to please like, comment, and subscribe. Please join in the conversation over at facebook.com/ungrownups, and be sure to check out our podcast, which is new every 2 weeks, over at ungrownups.com. You can stream it right off the webpage, or you can download it to your device straight from iTunes. So that's going to about do it for us, and Masterpiece MP-15, Ravage, and Rumble. Peace.